Do it for a second.
Thought you had to do it first.
Okay. Now we're going to go live.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh.
And we're back over here.
Okay.
What's up, everybody?
I don't see you over here yet.
We're going live. Live action. Here in Red Oak, Texas, we got TikTok rolling in, about 80 folks or so right here. And we are looking for all of our people on our other socials. If we are live, I believe we're live. They're going to be rolling in here in just a minute. So we're doing a quick little pop-up live for those of you guys that want to join us. Good little group here on TikTok. So let us tell you guys, I'm Josh, this is Brandy Helm, and we are from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. And we build Barndominium homes. So if you haven't already followed us here, go ahead and do that now because we are constantly updating new barndominiums and things of that nature. So give us a follow if you haven't already done that. As our other groups coming in, guys, we are trying to make up for lost time. And we should be there. Let me check Instagram real quick. Try one more time. There it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. There it comes.
There it is. Okay.
I kind of reload, I guess.
Now we're on, and we got Instagram. We got everybody here. Kimberly from California, let us know on TikTok where you guys are from. We'll start trying to catch your comments.
Chicago.
Chicago is in the house. And Central Ohio is in the house. So we've just been kind of, our normal Sunday afternoon routine. And we thought we missed really 2 lives this past week because
you can the first live.
Tell them what happened.
Okay. Well, life happened, actually. Our son, Justice, plays baseball, and he had a game scheduled for Tuesday. And actually, unfortunately, he's got a couple more. So our Tuesday schedule is going to be a little jacked up, I think, for a minute.
Our whole Tuesday night live is getting tampered with from Little League baseball. So
Yeah.
that's what's going on. So if you guys could share us to your local groups, share us to wherever your community pages, all that kind of stuff. While we're on live, that would be cool. We're just going to hang out for a little bit, chat about barndominiums. We didn't have, thanks, Sean. It's here from Whitesboro, Texas.
Hey, I know where that is.
We are in that area quite a bit these days. So
I'm not.
I am.
It takes too long to get there.
I'm not there as much as I'd like to be. David, we got a few questions rolling in already. From David Grishko. We're going to answer some questions here in a minute. We want to let a few more people get on. So
we got Instagram
Houston, Texas here on this end. Who's over here on
Minnesota,
our friends in Instagram? We're
Virginia.
so sorry that we have really messed up our last couple of lives on Instagram. But
Cleburne, absolutely.
Cleburne, Texas.
We build there.
We are building there. We had to go through a permit process to get one ready in Cleburne, but we finally, I think, got it ready this week.
Yay. We finally get to get it started.
You guys like my Cooper and Hunter. This is air conditioning company that we use quite a bit. And look, I'm supporting all the brands tonight.
I'll
I
check
got
you out.
Maestros. These
and
guys
Rangers.
always.
Somebody said something about baseball over here. I guess that's why.
I got the Texas Ranger hat on tonight. Love me some Texas Rangers, but tonight it's about those Dallas Mavericks.
Yes, they pulled it out.
Who did some whooping up on Houston, Texas. So
I think we beat the Astros the other day too.
I haven't been watching too much. Sorry, Houston, for what Dallas did to you guys tonight. That was pretty amazing comeback for Dallas Mavericks, and the Dallas Mavericks are hot right now. So
yeah,
if any of you
got
guys,
a pretty good team now.
Any guys want me to come show up with you to a game.
Yeah.
Good times, good times. I am a pretty big Dallas Mavericks fan. I love basketball, and so does my son
Yeah, our 10-year-old, he knows all the stats on everybody.
and all the players
Yeah.
almost in the whole league. So,
It's pretty funny.
okay. Well, we'll catch a couple questions here. I know there's always a bunch of questions about location. We're not sure on the timing because we haven't been doing we haven't been doing any lives other than Tuesday nights. So we're not sure if you guys are going to like this or not, but we just figured, hey, let's do a pop-up live so we're at least keeping on track because we were doing so good.
We were.
We were doing so good and bringing you guys alive every week, and then all of a sudden it's like,
We had something every night last week, and so
Yeah.
it just really goofed everything up. So when you rescheduled it, you actually scheduled it on another baseball game night. So
yeah. Thank you, Illinois Farmer. Yay, it's Texas Best. We appreciate it. Mitchell, hope I said your name not right. We built a Barndo in Alvord a year ago. I think that's really close to me. Alvord? Or is that just one of our guys' names? I think that's one of our guys' names.
yeah, you recognize the name.
Alvord isn't far from
Let me
here,
see.
is it?
I'll see. Alfred. It is in our build radius for a show.
There you go. I knew it was close.
It's-
And we have a guy that's named Alvord, but I always call him Albert. So
It's like 80 something miles from us.
let's answer a question here. David says, are lenders picky with barndominiums when it comes to residential? So,
Not in Texas, they aren't.
David, that's a good question. I mean, that is a really popular question, especially in some of our countering neighboring states where maybe it's not as common to build a barndominium. Well, in our area, as common as it is, we do have a very, I feel like, a very good supply of lenders and who are really great to work with. You know, I can remember very few instances where we've having any trouble finding a lender for anything. And that, you know, I guess when we first started out, I mean, we were working with our local bank, but it wasn't.
Right. And I think the only trouble they had there was just comps. But then, I mean, it's really
Right.
really not hard to find those anymore. So
Right.
in this area.
Susan says they're building one in Wichita Falls. Congratulations. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. He says that they like it. Keep it up.
Okay, do you want to?
Sean says, what is an architectural price? I guess you're talking about a turnkey, or are you just talking about a shell only? But I'm assuming, thank you. I think that's Michelle. I might have said your name wrong a while ago, but thank you, Michelle, for following us there. So, Sean, as far as a turnkey price goes, we've kind of given numbers like this on our lives in the past, but where we've talked about what the cost is for a shell only, what a shell only includes, and what that stopping point is for a shell only. There has been a lot of growing interest in our shell only options because of the length that we're going and what it includes because of all of our exterior flashings and all of our wall systems that we're installing, as well as our engineered foundations. But here, for a turnkey price, it includes everything with the exception of like utilities going to the house because we don't know those distances, and it excludes all of the like landscaping, appliances, some of these things that are variable in cost.
Driveways.
So it excludes a lot of those types of things, yes, driveways or additional flat work that would go beyond your plan. But everything that pertains to the house, even including the septic system, is what we're including. We do include a base package for a pad site, as well as, did I say septic system? I think I said that.
Yeah, you did.
So those are the things like that are included. It gets everything done pretty much with the exception of a few items that like I just mentioned. But that price range in our area, in our DFW market, is anywhere from $180 to $200 a square foot currently. And then you have for that turnkey, and then your shell only price can be anywhere probably from $80 to $100 if I'm giving you some guess ranges. Now, the good news is if you wanted to be a little bit more sure, and let's say you wanted to pick a plan that was off of our website, because we are offering that now, which you could access on bestbarndoplans.com. This is something where you could go pick a plan. You could gather the information from it currently. Now, one of the things we're working on is to give you guys potentially what we're working on is from our plan website to make it where you could click a button and get an instant quote on that plan. So that's one of the things that we're trying to make available, and we feel like it'd make it a little bit easier for people who are hunting and maybe don't know how to, fill out the form or whatever.
And when we're putting out videos of our finished like Barndo tours or whatever, we don't usually, we don't ever.
Well,
give
we
a
don't
price.
even know what the current price would be because it's something that we'd have to
4 or 5
go
years ago or
reprice the job at that moment, because a lot of times when we're doing the tour videos,
it's different.
I mean, it's been over a year ago since we put a price together on that job.
Right.
And even by the time the video comes out,
It could be different.
it could be completely different.
I mean, we're not changing the prices crazy
No.
all the time like that, but just the timing of it all. There's just a lot of time in between the time we bid it, the time we build it, and the time we actually get the video out. So just a lot of changes. See, I think he's talking about plans.
Where? What I missed? You tell me which one. Tell me which one I missed
Guess
here.
we need to figure out how.
Just tell me a name and I'll find it.
Sean, but I guess that's not the same one that commented or that asked about architectural.
Sean says we're paying $1.40 a square foot for architectural design. Then this will be given to bid. Yeah, Sean. So I mean, the price ranges can vary just depending on what somebody may be offering. Now,
what they're including.
Yeah. Now what we have is a pre-made plans from ones that you've seen like on our site that we are building. So on some of these projects, that's where we made available. Now that is an agreement that we've had with our designer, who says, we are able to sell those and make those available to you guys. So that's what that's about. But when it comes to design, you could be paying anywhere from $1 to up to $5 for an architect, especially an architect. Anybody that's going to stamp or engineer, at least stamp a set of plans, is going to charge a lot more money because, you're paying for those credentials, you're paying for all that. And that's important because they might be providing additional details. They might be providing some things that would specify more according to what pertains to your project. So those are key things, but it really just depends. I mean, I suggest if you're trying to find somebody in that realm. Now, if you're looking to work with us, I suggest you call us first, because we are able to help you filter out. Maybe you can find a plan that you might like, and it will make that a little bit cheaper and quicker on your end to be able to get something started. So.
Well, real quick, because we have people that are probably on here, they're asking, where do we build, all that kind of stuff, so I can kind of kill 2 birds, 1 stone. Our offices are in Red Oak, Texas. We have a 60-mile turnkey and up to a 100-mile shell option. So we're basically in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so if you're in that area, you should be covered. But just plug in Red Oak from wherever it is you're wanting to build, see how far it is. If it's 60-ish mileage, then we can do the turnkey. But we're doing, a little bit more than 100 miles, just a little.
We have flexibility in both of those options. I mean, really, and it really it's going to pertain to the build. It's going to
And the
pertain.
location, if it's easy to get to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. To
Yeah.
the build, wherever it's at, it's going to pertain to that, the location, to the size of the project. Because I'll just be honest. I mean, I don't mind telling you, it's some of these really small projects sometimes that are a really long ways away that end up eating your lunch, especially on a turnkey when you're driving 120 miles for a 500 square foot, 800 square foot build. Well, it can really be a problem. So, but those are some of the things. But anyhow, shell onlys, these are things that we are offering. And in certain circumstances, it may be that it could be turned into something greater, but mostly on your typical projects are going to be a shell only, that anything that exceeds that 60, 70 mile range, probably somewhere in there. But we are a little flexible in that we're not trying to, just shut people down immediately and, not be somewhat flexible in that. But
All right. And one other thing I wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of is on our link tree, he's got it listed there. We have a pre-planning stages PDF. It's a free PDF that you can download. It's going to give you a lot of information. I think it's just really helpful. Even if you want to add that to, whatever you're already doing, it'll help kind of get you started. There's some lenders on there. There's lots of questions that you can ask maybe a potential builder, things like that. It'll get you, going in the right direction as far as plans and all that.
Thank you, Tony Mosby, for giving us a follow. We really appreciate that. So, do you guys build near Bandera, Texas?
I'm pretty sure that's a no, but let me just
That
double check.
sounds
I think that's closer to.
like it's close to the Ponderosa Ranch, somewhere on the Wild Blue yonder.
Bandera is 240 miles away. So, yeah, that's going to be too far. Cleburne on
Man,
Instagram.
I really was
we
hoping
can.
that I could go to Bandera and build there, because that sounds really cool. Bandera.
I've got somebody on Instagram asking if we do
Sorry, Bryson.
steel, red iron, or wood frame.
Do we do steel, red iron, or wood frame? Well, we are primarily, we're doing the steel, red iron. There's a potential we may be able to offer some post frame construction in the future. You guys stay tuned. We'll
At least have it be an option.
Yeah, that is something that's definitely been in the works.
Yeah. Somebody's asking about San Jacinto County, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be too far as well. Hopefully, I was able to answer most of those questions with just giving you our
We're so glad to have Instagram back. I mean, you guys
we missed
have
y'all
been
last week.
treated like the redheaded stepchild for a little bit. But it's really not our fault. It's the fault of our streaming service that we use, because they don't give us the same flexibility that on Instagram as it does all these other. So it makes it really nice for our YouTube audience, and for those of us that watch there, as well as Facebook and of course our TikTok. So we appreciate you guys being on tonight. Thank you for following. As you're tuning in to our TikTok, our YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think we're on all these tonight, as well as Facebook.
So we've got another question on Instagram. It says, should I buy a plan online? And if so, should I ask if the plans are stamped by an architect? They're coming out of Virginia.
Well, if it's one of the plans that we're offering, then yes, you should buy it. But we do have like around 30 plans, I think, on there now. But if it's something that you're looking to buy from somebody else, most of the time your plan offerings are not technically going to be stamped, unless, there are some times where it could go that way. Like, we have an engineer that we do work with routinely in our area. Now for Virginia, I do not know, but that would be a question to ask if you're buying something specific from somebody different.
And if you're in the city limits and it's going to be required by, like, for permitting purposes, and you have to have it stamped, you would definitely want to check into that first. And make sure it's
okay. We got some good questions rolling in. Let's see.
Okay, I got everybody caught up on Instagram, so now it's on you.
David says, I heard people have spent $100,000 at least on permitting in California. If true, that's insane. You know what, David? I've heard stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I don't disagree. I mean, I definitely don't think it's an exaggeration. I think anytime you are working in the municipalities, there are impact fees, and there's no telling, depending on which area you're in, to what scale that could be. But
Yeah, I would.
I've definitely heard things like that, and I know that there's a lot of additional hoops that you could jump through that would probably put a guy like me out of business. I wouldn't be interested in even being in the business if I had to face some of this stuff.
Well, and that's why, you whenever you're picking out your land, even, I mean, you're not going to probably run into too much of that in Texas, but I would definitely check, because we even had a job once that was kind of in limbo as to whether it was considered county or whether it was going to be considered city, and they both kept passing it to each other. And where it would have been maybe a $75 county fee turned into like what was it? How much did that end up being, that permit? I think it ended up costing like $6,000, because they had like a road fee or something. But anyways, it ended up being pretty costly compared to what we thought it was going to be. So that's definitely something you want to look into.
Yeah, and it's a road impact fee, and
Yeah.
but that's the larger fee that we've had to deal with. At least I know, like in certain cities, and it might be a $3,500 to $5,000 impact fee in certain cities. But we've also been in areas like, I think, north of Dallas, where we've had just a flat out permit fees like $7,000 and stuff like that. But it really just depends on where you're going. But there's another question somebody said, and I will skip to it just because it's related to this. Zed says, is it easier to build outside of city limits? Does it keep costs down at all? And that is an obvious yes. I mean, it's easier for the sense of not having to jump through some of those hoops. As far as easier to build a home for us, it's not any different for us.
No,
Like,
but it could
we're gonna build the same way, whether it's in the city or whether it's out in a rural area.
But in addition to permit fees, you're also potentially looking at them requiring certain things for your build. So they may have a minimum size build that you have to do, or they may limit the size, the maximum size you can build. They may require you to put stone or masonry on the exterior, and that's going to be an upgrade. That's going to be added cost to your build. And so there's things like that could potentially cost you more just by building in the city.
Yeah, those are just things that you need to weigh out. Also, it can cause delays. We were ready to roll on this one project, and we had to switch gears and
The brakes.
get all the stuff done. But let me see, make sure I don't miss. Somebody said something over here. Let me make sure I'm fair about answering everybody's questions. Do we have any leads on plot, small piece of land in McKinney, but open to areas around your services? So if I was going to recommend good areas, what's some good areas? I mean, there's a lot of people moving that are in the Metroplex that are going a little bit farther south, whether it's close to Hill County, like Itasca, closer to Hillsborough area, out in Whitney, Blum. A lot of folks are finding some good land out in those areas, as well as East Texas. We're doing quite a bit out towards the Wills Point, Tyler, any of those directions. The soil is a little bit better out that way too. Also in closer to like Joshua, closer to Cleburne, those areas. We were like being over in those areas. That seems to be where a lot of our market has been. In this also a little bit south, like towards Corsicana, a little bit farther south than that.
It's definitely easier for us to stay on the south side of Dallas.
It's easier for us, but at the same time, I feel like there's more affordable land
Yeah.
in those regions.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
of course, you know, it really is just about the land. I mean, trying to find something that works good as well as your commute wherever you're working and those things.
Schools, that makes a difference to a lot of people.
Yeah, but a lot of these schools are changing a lot, like Grandview, some of those areas. There's a lot of growth going on in Alvarado, some of these areas.
Cleveland, yeah.
Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Paris, Italy,
Godly.
a lot of these places. So I'm going to catch one over here and I'll be right back over to there. Let's see. Mr. Be Happy asked a couple questions. We're going to answer both of yours. How do you feel about a client talking to your contractors about changes without speaking with you first? Well, thanks for that question, and I'll jump to your other one too. So I really don't have a lot of problems with this. I feel like we've got some really good clients in that regard that really do respect our process and what's going on. I'd say you just need to encourage up front where the communication lies are in establishing the authority that the way that things work for your system. That's what we try to do early on, and just say, hey, if the guys are there, please just communicate with me or my superintendent. That's what Brandon, who's on here, he could testify to that. What's up, Brandon? So.
He had another one, right?
Oh, he said he's starting his Texas Best Series this week. Keep your eyes open. Let's go. Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. What else? He said East is nice. A lot more trees. Yes. A lot better.
East Texas is really pretty.
More, better, taller.
More better.
More, better, bigger.
I've got a question on Instagram.
Yep.
Okay. It says, do most HVAC contractors perform manual calculations to design the systems? Oops. Or do they use the old school rule of thumb, every 500 square foot equals a ton?
Heidi, is that who that is?
Maybe, yeah.
I would say that there is a good rule of thumb. Like what we know, we can generally, there's a lot of predictabilities in what we're building for when it comes to air conditioning. But for the sizing, it all looks pretty typical from job to job. Now, we are occasionally having to have all of those things, the manual J's and everything, and getting all the load calculations pretty regularly. But there are circumstances where, I would say there's probably that's not done, but it's a good rule of thumb, depending on your distance, especially if you have a big house. It's something you're trying to make sure that happens. For us, our coverage is not 500 square foot. It's more like 750 to 800 square feet because of our air tightness and the things that we are able to get from our performance on air conditioning, though. So I'll say that our performance is a lot better with our air sealing techniques and the things that we do. It ends up being a lot better for those reasons.
One thing I want to address too, I know there's a few different people asking if we know good builders in certain areas. Unfortunately, we're not necessarily, have like a list of, buddies around that we know.
We know some folks in like the Brownwood area. I got some friends over there, and we got some good friends out in the east area. But for turnkeys, like if I'm not doing it, I'd refer you to one of my good friends out there.
But we have if you're on Facebook, we have a Building Barndominiums Facebook group. There's over 300,000 people on there. I always encourage people to get on there and ask questions. Ask for a builder in a specific area, and you'll usually find somebody in that area that's used somebody that can either give you a good review or a bad review. So definitely check that out. Be a part of that group because there's just a lot of conversations going on. A lot of people posting pictures and ideas, and so it's a great resource.
Mr. Be Happy says, can I buy your plans and build them multiple times?
Sure.
If you're going to be honest about it, I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you
What
have-
else?
You want me to go or you want to go? This we've got LCL Welding. I keep doing that. On Instagram that says, "Do y'all's plans possibly include structural connection?"
Oh, one of our clients is on. Thank you, Sherry. Absolutely. Will's Point.
Yay.
Welcome to the live.
This one says, does it include structural connection detailing and shop drawings for a cut list? If not, can you source that out for fabrication?
Sorry, I was fan. Somebody said they're a fan over here. I was waving.
You're such a turkey.
Villa Lobos Cooking loves us, freaking loves us on YouTube, on TikTok. Now on TikTok, loves us on YouTube.
Oh, good.
Okay. Anyways,
I'm not reading it
give me the
again.
question.
I'll let you read it.
Do y'all's plans possibly include structural connection, detailing, shop drawings for cut lists? If not, y'all source that for fabrication. Thanks. Love y'all. So thank you. I appreciate that. There are not cut sheets. No, we do not have cut sheets. These are basic floor plans. These are not engineered plans to that regard. We do potentially will be offering like a basic maybe foundation plan, but nothing structurally when it comes to engineering. Now we can charge for that is what I was going to say. We can charge for structural engineering if you're wanting to do that through us. Guys, this is all something new, so to us, like to even be able to offer that. But we really are trying to help people that are not somebody that's going to be our particular customer. So, we really are. We're really trying. But my goal is that we may be able to have better things that we can offer in regards to modifications to the plans, all of these kind of things but you're going to have to buy the plan first that you like the most, and then there will be a minimum modification, and then we'll be able to take you to a complete modification. But the minimum will probably include like interior walls. And I'm just kind of sharing you guys insider information as to what we're working on. We're actually going to be working on revamping our everything, to help present this a little bit better than even what we're doing now.
Do you want to do that top comment? You're asking about construction loans.
This?
Yeah.
Do you know when payments, like down payment, monthly payments begin with the construction loan, taking the lead time and build time into consideration? As far as...
well, on a construction loan...
I want to let you start it now.
Okay. On the construction loan, like every bank's going to be somewhat the same and somewhat different. So definitely you would need to find out what the stipulations are with your bank. But the construction loan, you're going to be making payments every month based on what's been drawn. So, say the first month we've only billed for, your underground plumbing and your site work or something like that. So maybe say it's, $10,000. You're only going to pay a payment on the $10,000. Then when we do your foundation and say we add another $30,000 to it, then the next month you're going to pay whatever the interest rate is, whatever the I know, but every month you're going to basically be paying the interest on what's been billed to up to that point. So at the beginning of the project, your payments are going to be really pretty minimal. But obviously towards the end, it's going to get a little higher.
Except for when you pour the foundation, it's a big hit. Yeah,
but it's kind of grouped in for your monthly. So anyhow, as far as down payments and things like that, I believe you're going to have, each bank, I guess, is different, but you're going to have to bring money probably to closing and things like that. It depends on if you're doing a one-time close.
It really depends.
There's just a lot of factors in that, so it's kind of hard to answer.
But as far as payments go, here's a quick answer. You're not going to make any payments until you're paying the contractor.
Until you're drawing money on it.
And you're drawing money. So except for maybe at closing, like what she's saying, if they're expecting you to bring some kind of money in to hold it or put it into a certain count to where some of those first initial checks that go to the contractor may be for that. But let me say this as a matter of safety for all you guys that are doing this. And I don't want to mess anybody up, but honestly, when it comes to us, like we are not drawing any money until construction starts. So this
we're
is
doing something.
Yeah, and this has just been my principle of how that we work, and we have a complete draw schedule up front. Everybody knows this is when we're going to draw money, and I call it a payment schedule, even though it's itemized, like it's almost like you're billing for items, but it's really our costs are not really broke down, and we don't have an itemized cost,
It's
so to
not
speak.
actually the budget.
It's not the budget items, it's just a payment schedule for items, saying that once you get the pad side done, it's going to be this much that you're going to pay us once you get this done. But we don't necessarily go and configure your project and say, we're charging you this much for your air conditioning, we're charging you this much for this. It's not like that because we're doing a fixed contract on our builds, and
So
which
we're
may
not
be
taking-
controversial to what a lot of other people do. But for us, and this is not an easy way to go, especially when pricing and stuff is erratic. But
Because
this
sometimes
is,
those line items are short, and sometimes they're beefier. So it's kind of hit and miss, and you just never know really until you are paying all those bills that whether or not it's going to cover it sometimes. But one thing, I mean, I just would be really careful. I know we've really strived to stay really in sync with the job as far as the billings are concerned, because I do not want to get upside down for sure. I don't want to take more than what we've done because I don't want to be owing someone.
well, you're not trying to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. That's definitely not a good business practice. So
It can get
it's something you need to definitely
up.
talk about with your contractor up front. If I'm not the contractor and they're coming at you heavy, wanting all this money and, or trying to do the job in 4 payments, guys, I mean,
And we
I
can't do
can't
that.
tell you how many horror stories I've seen. Like I said, my goal isn't to mess anybody up. You may find a really reputable person and this is the way they've done it and they've done it forever. But for me, that'd be a red flag for me.
And most banks don't want to do that. Usually they're wanting to come in and doing inspections and making sure that you're not getting upside down as well. So that's not usually something, but you do have people that are paying cash, and I would just be really cautious of giving somebody too much up front because it can get bad both directions. So.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Be Happy. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's see.
Check. I haven't missed anything over here.
I don't know. When looking at land to build, is it better to have the builder look at the land before purchasing it? Gene, I don't think so. I mean, like for me, like I'm not going to be able to come out before you purchase land. It's not going to be something that I would be able to do.
Yeah.
But what you're going to have to just know is really, if you look at some of our tips, we've got some videos that say, talk about land purchasing. And if you'll shoot us a message, or I'll even try to come back to your comment. I can't see the comments in YouTube after the fact, but in Facebook, I think we can. So,
But yeah, we have a video on YouTube that kind of, it's you telling people, hey, if you look for this, if you have this, it'll save you money. If it doesn't, that's fine. We can still work with that. It's just gonna.
and it might be even in the what to expect or planning strategy.
Pre-planning,
Is
maybe.
it in that?
It might be. I'll have to
We should keep that stuff right here so we could have it ready for you
Post it.
guys. But yeah, we do have a free PDF on this link tree, which I'll put back up. There's a free PDF download called Pre-Planning
Pre-planning.
Strategy for Building a Barndominium. So this has got a list of questions, all these kind of things that you can even ask your builder. I recommend you download it. It's free. We're not selling your information to somebody and all that. This is just you do have to put your email in it to get the free download. But
Because it's going to send it to you.
um,
We're not trying to send you a bunch of emails or anything. But we also, for those of you that can go to that site as well, you'll also find in the in the resource section a Barndo cost calculator. So we have on there option to do the shell only or a turnkey build. So you can enter in, it'll basically give you a list of questions and you'll enter those things in and it'll instantly give you a quote to your email. You can play with that as many times you want. You can, find a couple of plans, put in the, until we get the auto one, you can go in there and.
The best case scenario for working with us is be able to just take that information, put it in our Barndo calculator, and you could almost get an instant quote on it.
Really close to
Worst case scenario, which a lot of people do this as well that really don't know what to do. If you call the office, we have a really, really nice Sydney who will walk you through the steps and even do it for you while you're on the phone. So it's pretty cool. And it's an instant quote you can get, or maybe you just have a certain amount of square footage in mind and things like that. You could get a quick budget.
Yeah, if you're trying to determine, if you're trying to do your plans and maybe you're trying to figure out what you.
This has been a great. It's been a great tool for people to be able to get some
numerous times
some numbers together before they start making their plans. That way they can sit there and massage out some of those square footage, because like I say, square footage rules the day. They don't charge you less upstairs square footage for electrical, HVAC. They don't charge you less upstairs. They don't charge you for sheetrock any less upstairs. You know what I'm saying? So the square footage is how you really need to look at it, upstairs and downstairs square footage. And I know that the next question is always, well, is it cheaper upstairs? And you don't need to figure it to be any cheaper, because really your stairs have expense too, as well as this
railings,
all of the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So good way to figure and a good way to budget is that way. Okay, we're moving through these questions. Villa Lobo says, I'm a truck driver saving up so you guys can build my wife, kids a barndominium. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you. Let's see. You're welcome. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. We are potentially, David said, thanks for the detailed explanation for the construction loans. We are potentially going to try to sit down with another lender in Texas and kind of go through some of these regulations and stuff like that to help you guys better understand. This is some kind of content that we're going to be bringing on this channel. If you're not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, you're going to miss it.
Yep.
And it's going to be all your fault, because I've done told y'all to subscribe so many times.
Ring the bell.
Like, I can't even tell y'all, we got 70% or 60% of people that watch our channel haven't even subscribed. So, I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's like, it's just a button. You just push it.
It helps us.
It doesn't cost you anything.
So you ring the bell, like the videos, subscribe, comment below.
I mean, his beard's going to pop up on your news feed, but that's about
We
it.
need you to do that, guys. Come on.
I mean, even our friends, like, come on.
Yeah.
You don't have to be interested in a Barndo. You can just subscribe to us.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
I'm just teasing. May not want to see
speaking
us.
of friends, we got somebody there. Charmaine.
Hey.
Thanks,
Charmaine.
Mr. Be Happy. Appreciate you.
They're my friends.
How much Barndo do you think 100K will get you? Not very far sometimes, but, it really just depends. 100K is going to get you like a mother-in-law quarters or something behind a house, and it better be right across the street from where I live if I'm doing it. But, it's hard, the lower stuff, like I said, there's a lot of impact fees on smaller builds. So the septic systems don't cost any less.
Right. You're still...
your water meters don't cost any less.
It's going to cost you more per square foot to do smaller, because you're going to have at least two of the biggest expensive rooms in that place is going to be a kitchen and a bathroom. And you're going to have both of those, to live in it. So, 500 square foot.
I think he was kidding, but
doable, but
probably not kidding, right?
Well,
It said he says it just basically needs a home base between traveling. I got you. I
Sure,
understand.
it's doable. It's
What
just,
you're going to need though is a big shop to cover all that. So you need to, check out our. Now, if you'd have come to us from about 4 years ago, you'd have been smelling like a rose
yeah,
because we could have. We were building for like $100 a square foot turnkeys or 110 or whatever it was.
yeah,
Crazy stuff, but the market was completely different about 4 years ago.
gas was cheaper, materials were cheaper, labor was cheaper, everything was cheaper.
Yep. And interest rates, all of that. But, you got to roll with the punches. I was looking at a deal. Where was it? I was looking at something somebody had posted about interest rates and, basically said, pick yours, the one that you want, and I mean, there was literally interest rates from like in 1980s that was 15%
Like
interest
credit
rates.
card.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know we don't like that 6 to 7 or whatever it is right now, but they've gone through all these kind of things, for the last 30 years. And interest rates have been outrageous, way more outrageous than what they are now.
Right. So it could get worse. It could get better. But the good thing about it is you always have an option to, because I have people all the time, they'll be like, well, even when it was $110 a square foot, they're saying, well, I'm going to wait till it comes down. And it did not.
We had people saying they were going to wait for the prices to come down during COVID.
Yeah.
And that was like when we were $120 a square foot.
And it didn't. And then it jumped up to 140, and then it jumped,
And we never lead with fear tactics, because that's not what this is about for us. Like, we're not trying to fear people into building at all. I just don't feel like, for me, like I may not sell my house right now because I didn't like maybe some of the changes in the market, but when it comes to building, it wouldn't hold me back. If I'd definitely build. If I'd have sold my house about a year ago, I'd been building a barndominium right now. For those of you that are watching, say, what? He don't have a barndominium. Well, we have a barndominium we built for our in-laws and our office and things like that.
It's across the driveway.
Next door, but we don't live in a barndominium. Our home is a conventional frame home, which I've got a video that's going to come out later this week that tells you a little bit of insight about what we kind of dealt with for some of our inefficiencies. So you guys need to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Now would be a good time.
Well, Jeanette Robinson says that the best decision she ever made was her home 24 years ago. She absolutely loves it, and it's maintenance free.
Awesome.
24 years ago, and it's still maintenance free.
That's right.
You're not having to repaint it every year. You're not having to replace rotten boards and all the things that you have to kind of do to.
I'm going to address Amy Smith's comment here. She says it drives her crazy when Facebook Barndo groups try to say that they can build one for less than $100 a square foot. And, it drives me, I'll be honest with you, it drives me crazy too. And I'm sure anybody that's a builder that knows what this stuff costs, like can you build something for less than $100 a square foot? Yes, you can certainly build something.
Yourself.
But you're not building what I'm building.
Yeah.
Most certainly not building what I'm building anywhere in the country for that kind of price. And I can guarantee that because I know what it costs and I've paid a price to know what it costs.
Right.
So, but, and that's the thing, like the way that we're building, the style of build, the way that our structure is put together, it's a durable, mean machine type of a product.
I mean, there's a way. I mean, for us, we can do, a shell option for somebody that's trying to save money. They can do a lot of it themselves and save some money. But whenever
a little bit,
when they kind of throw that number out there, well, I only paid this for it. Well, yes, you did, but how much time did you spend on it? How much was your time worth? How long did it take you to get it done? Because time is money, and a lot you're going to put a lot of time and sweat equity into it. So it's, yeah, you may have only forked out this amount of dollars, but
here's the thing, Amy, is if they spent $100 or less than $100, bet if they try to sell it, they're going to try to get the same money that everybody else is trying to get, obviously, right? And that's the whole thing, like, but the value's not the same, what's put into it. And that's the thing. You definitely need to know what's put into it.
yeah, what are you getting? We got to compare apples to apples.
I've talked to people that have barndominiums that were pre-built, and they said, you know what, there's no insulation in the walls. That's the one thing we regret. There wasn't any insulation, stuff like that. Like, I'm like, are you kidding? Like,
well, it's kind of one of those things where you may have somebody that's, you ask someone's opinion and they say, oh, well, if you do it like this, you can save some money. And you think, oh, okay. And you trust somebody to just, go with it. I mean, we did that. You remember when we did all of our landscaping? And they're like, oh, you don't have to put that paper down. That stuff's junk or whatever. And it's like, okay. Oh my gosh, we've regretted it ever since. Pulling weeds every year because we didn't go the full, try to make it quicker or easier. And
talking about landscaping?
Yes, I'm just saying, just in general, taking the shorter route or the cheaper route is not. It's not always going to save you in the long run.
Let's catch one more question here.
We're still going with it here.
SPNM Pressure Washing says, how much of a down payment would you recommend for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot barn do?
Well, I don't know. Every bank's different. I don't know what
down
they're going to
payment.
require.
I mean, here's the thing: is we don't take down payments to start projects. That's not how we roll. But your down payment, like as far as what you're putting up, is something between you and the bank. The banks could require 10%. They could. I mean, they're going to want equity. They're going to want 20%.
I'm sure it depends on if you already own your land.
Sometimes
credit score. I mean, there's probably a lot of factors.
If you've already got land, then you may be able to use that as equity, which is a lot of people use their land as leverage. There you go. Some of you guys might have missed an early part of the video where we did talk about cost, obviously, but tools on hand is money as well. That's right. Yeah.
If you got to buy them or rent them, listen, we rented equipment for a long time and it was very, very costly. So yeah, I know you got to kind of count the full cost because it's definitely going to cost you, because if somebody does it wrong and you're building it yourself, you're going to have to pay to fix it.
So it says, what is your typical square footage cost for your typical project? 150. Square footage cost can be, like I said, for a turnkey build. We talked about this a little bit ago, what it includes, what it doesn't include. But it can range anywhere from like $180 to $200 a square foot for a turnkey build, the way that we build it in our area. So in other areas, the way that we build it could cost more money. In other areas, which I don't know of, it might cost a little bit less. I don't know where it costs a little bit less. Obviously,
Not California.
it costs a little bit less for some people on TikTok that I've had the privilege of getting to know at some point in time, but or there's Facebook groups out there that claim that they're under $100,000. Everything's under $100,000, and they're posting pictures of my builds on there for less than $100,000. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Like,
we'll pay you to do it.
I mean, it's unbelievable, but it's just a scam. I mean, then they're trying to sell plans on there. And I wouldn't trust anything on that page, just to be honest with you. I've tried to report it because it's a lie.
Yeah, it's like
it's a scheme, try to get people's attention on cost, because everybody needs to know a cost, and it's like you try to give cost, but that's not the way to do it. You don't just claim that everything's under $100,000 to get likes. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, but they're not builders either. They're just they're just scammers.
Well, I don't really even know if it's a real deal or not, but that I know that when you click a link, it definitely doesn't have a plan to something that I built.
Yeah, right.
So that's hopefully that helps you, Michael. Kimberly says, I've heard that it's cheaper to do a cement floor with epoxy, marbled, and sealed with epoxy. Did you, I've heard it's cheaper to do a cement floor with epoxy, marbled, and sealed with epoxy. I don't know on those specific terms that you're talking about.
We do sealed concrete.
We do
concrete.
sealed concrete. I mean, it honestly is very similar cost for us to do like an LVP to do our stained concretes.
Yeah, because you're paying more on the on the labor side for like a sealed or stained concrete. You're going to pay more labor and less materials because they've got to clean and prep and do all these things to finish those floors out nicely. Now, when you do the vinyl plank, then obviously you're going to pay more for your materials than you do your labor. So it really evens out. But one thing I wanted to kind of just mention, it's just my preference. Some people really love the concrete floors. Some people would really rather not. But the thing I tell you, if you're on the fence on whether or not to do concrete floors versus, a vinyl plank or something like that, is I would try the concrete floors first. You can always put something over them. You can always add tile later. You can always put wood flooring down over. But you could at least, to me, if you're on the fence, I would go that route because you can't really go backwards. Once you put tile down, you're going to mess those floors, the concrete up. If you try to chip the tile up and then try to do stained floors, you're probably not going to be able to go backwards.
What I've always heard people say is that it is hard to keep up the floors. Mm-hmm. What you got to remember though is even though as hard as it is to keep up the stained concrete floors, they're actually cleaner than any other type of floor probably. So, that's how dirty your floors can get. I mean, they just get dirty.
Oh, yeah, carpet and
dust
pad,
and
that's not going to hold
everything. But
there's no grout.
It's really up to you and what your preferences are, whether you would like that or not. So
they are a little colder. And so in some of the northern states, they do a lot of heated floors to warm those up. But Texas, it's kind of nice actually to have a cooler floor. But now, I think if you're standing up on them all the time, I think it might, might hurt your feet a little bit or maybe your back. So I know my mother-in-law had one of those spongy mats that she had in front of her kitchen sink and things like that. So.
Absolutely. Jeanette says, we cut no corners, especially going to live in it the rest of our lives. She's very happy with her barn door. Says we have blown insulation and R12 insulation. Really cool, Jeanette. Thank you for letting us know. We went with lifetime windows from Windows USA, Alaskan Windows lifetime warranty. Well,
that's cool. I wonder.
You got to do the research and make good decisions about windows, HVAC, insulation.
It all makes a difference.
All of these things, it's like, man, I wish I could go back to 1997 when they were building this house that I've got and fix all that stuff. Because, there's so many things I would do different. Now, the reason why we're still in this house is because we got a really, really good deal. And now we're kind of fixated here because
we've built our business here.
We're here, and we've got a lot going on and not a lot of time. So that's
busy building
one of the things
else.
We did not foresee happening, nor did we strategize to happen, but it just happened. So
I bet my AC bill is bigger than theirs.
Oh yeah. Yep. Kimberly says, we have 4 big dogs. Oh my goodness, Kimberly, I could not do that.
In the house. We had
I'm
2
just
big
kidding.
dogs, but they had to stay outside.
we used to have dogs in the house. You know, we used
Little
to do that.
ones.
And then we had kids, and it's like having animals in the house anyway. So we decided, let's just have these instead.
Yeah, when my babies were crawling on the floor, I just didn't want all the dog hair, so they kind of got booted.
And not assuming that they have dog hair, so that's
No,
not.
but I'm
But
just saying
we just didn't need the extra things because
we
we
had a
had
bunch of shedders.
four kids. So, and you know, we do have a daughter, so we definitely still have hair on the floor, and I have a
And
wife,
a lot of it's mine.
and sometimes maybe a few, you know, these.
Yeah, if they're gray, they're his.
But we
try to
have
keep
mostly wood flooring. When we remodeled, we put an engineered wood floor down, which we're really happy with. We were doing updates like on our Helm on the Range channel, because we've got a family channel that we were doing really well with, and you know,
I get too busy. It's just hard.
our business stuff is so busy that it's like you kind of got to pick a winner, and it's like, well, the business stuff has to.
People are more interested in barndos than in our lives, for sure.
Probably.
Although, I mean, we could have a beard channel. I think that would probably do really well.
I don't know. I'm probably the most boring person to talk to about beards because I don't ever give any real information. I don't have any.
We're gonna do a get ready with me with Josh.
Yeah.
And let him
Day
show
in
you
the
how he
life.
blow dries us.
Day in the life. Much more to come. You better subscribe now. When we hit 1 million subscribers, we'll do
He always says his exit strategy is going to be he's going to shave his beard off, so nobody will recognize him anymore.
If I ever shave my beard, I'm going to be out of business.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
that's funny.
Any other questions, you guys?
Oh, look there. That's the one that was on TikTok earlier.
Where?
That last comment.
Oh,
Now they're on YouTube.
there you go. TikTok was messing up. Thanks, Carlos. We do foam insulation, and we do not do heated concrete floors. So this is not something that's typical anyways.
Not here. It's
Haven't
not.
had anybody in our area.
The northern states, it's really popular.
Haven't
A lot
had
of people do
anybody
that.
yet that asked me to do it or wanted me to price it. But
People are usually wanting their houses cooler in Texas instead of warmer. So,
yeah.
but we're doing basements too. So who knows?
And the ground is usually a little bit cooler, anyways, with the concrete slabs and stuff that we have. So,
There's a first time for everything.
Dylan's bringing a question. Dylan, thank you.
Golson, Texas. Is that what it
I
said?
believe Golson's definitely. I think isn't that down there by McGregor or something like that? I believe
Let me
so.
look.
Says, good evening. We're in the process of purchasing land in Golson. We are interested in having you guys build us a home. Would you be able to point us in the right direction for plans and blueprints? Definitely. So you need to go check out, I'll pop it up here. This site, this is where we're selling
BestBarndoPlans.com.
bestbarndoplans.com. This is where we are selling some of our previous top builds that we have built. You'll see pictures in there as well, but you can also go to YouTube, watch a full video on some of these builds.
Yeah, you can get a feel for it. Since we don't really have one for you to walk through.
What's going on here?
You probably forgot to do a little puzzle piece or something.
Is it going to shut off?
Is your phone dead?
No,
I don't know.
it's just hung up.
So yeah, Golson's 73 miles from us, so we could definitely still help you
Yeah.
out there. See,
Oh, I
there
got to
it is.
verify.
That's funny.
Let's play a game. TikTok always threatens to shut me down or something
He
while
has to
I'm
verify he's not a robot.
doing this stuff. Okay, I've got to go back because I can't see the comments. Okay. West Texas. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Did you know I used to go to school in West Texas? Yeah.
before the explosion?
I was one of the fastest in my elementary, you know, even though I didn't win. And I won't say who won, but, you know, I did used to go to West Elementary right there by the check stop. So They'll
was
probably
funny.
put a plaque up one day
One time
that's
we
got
had-
my name on it.
One time we had somebody on here that used to ride the bus with you.
Oh yeah,
That was funny.
yeah. My mom used to drive the school bus in West Texas. There you go. Uh-oh, no internet.
Uh-oh. How do you not have internet on your phone? TikTok.
Come on.
Oh. I think
Okay.
it's back.
Oh no.
Oh, nope.
I got kicked out of
TikTok shut you
TikTok.
down.
We got kicked out of that.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't know that we have an answer for you on the.
What's the question? Go
It
ahead.
says.
Go ahead. Read it.
Okay. It says you said you've done basements. What does it? I can't see. What does the average square price compare to upper floor? Ugh. I'm not answering that one because I don't even know.
Well, the only basement we're doing is the one for the black barndominium.
Gold.
Black barndominium. We've done a lot of black barndominiums. This is the black gold barndominium. Sorry, TikTok, you guys got kicked off, but you're back. Thank you for hanging in there. But when it comes to basement pricing, like it's going to be specialized pricing. This is not.
We don't have a standard price for that.
Yeah, we're not going to be giving any kind of a price for that over the live because it won't. It's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap, and I couldn't even tell you any specifics. Honestly, it really is going to depend on the engineering and what it entails. So,
Magnolia, Texas is going to be outside of our build radius. Sorry,
isn't
King.
that close to Houston?
Yeah. Pinehurst.
It might be.
Cypress.
Is it close enough for a shell only?
No, it's down by Conroe. Here's Magnolia. Here's Conroe. It's south of.
You know, why is all the cool name cities got to be like out
Close to
too
Houston.
far? Like Bandero, like that would be so cool.
Bandera Barndo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that would be so cool. And like Magnolia, like everybody's gonna think we're Chip and Joanne or something if we build that.
Yeah, right.
Magnolia Barndos. Hey, somebody's probably already doing it. What else?
Our build radius is we have 60-mile turnkey from Red Oak, Texas. We are 20 miles south of Dallas, so it's in the Dallas Metroplex pretty much. And we go up to 100 miles for a shell option. So just plug in Red Oak, Texas and see how far that is from you, and you'll be able to tell real quick. And if you're more than 2 hours from DFW, it's going to be too
We got
far.
a lot of folks on TikTok all of a sudden, so welcome in. If you guys haven't already followed us, we build barndominiums. So we are doing this live. We've been doing this for about the past hour, but it just shut down on us. So we're talking barndominiums. You guys got any questions? Let us know. We are Texas Best Construction out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. We are known mostly for building steel-framed hybrid style barndominiums. What that means is we're building our steel framing where we have all of the roof supported from the vertical posts, columns, which are steel, on offsets of say 20 to 30 foot. And, you know, by doing that, we have a lot of versatility with our flexible designs on the interior, allowing for us to be able to pretty much design a build any way that we want.
With no load-bearing walls inside or pillars or columns to
And
go around.
the barndominium is a new craze. I mean, it's everybody really is interested in
Low maintenance.
in the low maintenance, the energy efficiency. What's some of the other things?
Having a shop that you can have parties in.
Having a big open shop, the
Storage.
multi-generational living. Have you guys been enjoying some of our outtakes on that? We've been putting that stuff out.
So funny story, multi-generational, is we had my parents.
Yep.
During COVID, we had my parents next door. My grandma lives with my parents.
Yep.
And we had Josh's parents living upstairs.
Yeah, we were building my folks a place to live. a barndominium, and while they were here, we were going through COVID. So uniquely, we were all stuck in one spot.
And we weren't able to go see other people, so we actually all had family dinners pretty
And
much.
I
for the
feel
week.
like it's kind of one of those highlight moments, I think, in our lives. And
It was nice to have them close. Yeah.
and in some ways you realize a sense of what you've been missing, with a sense of community, and having everybody right there. I think, of course, we've experienced that before because we've lived with family early on, being married. We've lived with everybody, pretty much, sisters, brothers,
Yeah.
and mom and dads, and we've bummed off everybody. So
So it was their time to stay with us.
that's right. It was their turn. But I just consider it it's a good thing. I mean, of course, if you don't get along with your family, multi-generational living isn't probably
Yeah,
going
you're
to be
not going
for
to want to
you.
do that. But a lot of people that are calling us, their goal is to get their parents on the property with them,
Yeah.
whether it be as a part of their home or maybe like a mother-in-law suite, like
Yeah.
that's in their home.
I mean, you don't realize all this is happening, but there's so many instances where you're building for people, and you realize, oh, well, they were bringing their mom along, they were bringing their dad, or
They were
making
gonna have to
arrangements,
take care. Maybe they were going to be a caregiver for one of their parents or a
or
grandparent.
for their even, I mean, newly married, sons or daughters, making places or arrangements. I mean, some of these things that people have come up with, and just because, like I said, you're building a place doesn't mean it all has to be in the same compartmented area. It could be divided up, and have like two separate entrances in the home. I mean, there's a lot of advantages to building like that.
Yeah, even ours, we have an office upstairs and it has its own entrance. So it's not a bother to my parents that live downstairs. It's got an office. I mean, our offices are upstairs and you go through the shop to get to it. So definitely could be another living quarters because it actually was.
Yeah. Somebody was asking if our internet was bad, and yes, it was bad, and I just switched it to another
Network.
provider, so hopefully it's better now. So I'm sorry. I guess that's what was happening, is my phone service, cellular, was no good. So let's see. We missed a couple questions here. Mike, does the estimated square foot pricing include the land clearing for immediate area for construction? Mike, if it's minimal land clearing, such as little like mesquite trees, things like that, it's not going to be a big deal. If you're talking 300-year oak trees that are, 150 foot tall or something like that, then it definitely wouldn't include that, So, but anything, like I said, I could push over with a skid steer, those kind of things, maybe not as big of a deal to us. Like we could push it in a pile. I don't like really when everybody saws them down to flush with the ground, because I like to pull the roots out. So having a little bit of stump or something there is actually
Give you
better,
something to hold on to.
because you need to be able to get the roots out, because you don't want all that becoming a void later under your foundation. So that's the idea behind that.
Those tree roots are no joke. They can jack up some concrete for sure.
Right. So hopefully that helps answer your question.
That one's cool.
Rich says, we used your Italy and Cool Barndominium as our inspiration for our build in Arizona. Love
That's
your
great.
channel. It's very informative, great ideas. Thank you so much.
That's really what we want to do with our videos. A lot of people think that we're trying to sell a house, so they're mad when we don't tell them how much it is. But really, what it is just so
Yeah,
to
a
give
lot of people
ideas.
just think we're really bad salesmen because we're not telling you how much you can pay for it. But the real truth about it is, when it comes to that time, it's kind of like, well, it's more of a celebration for our clients to say, hey, this is all done, and it's a time for them to move in, and we're not trying to spill the beans on how much they spent or paid us to do this project, because it's,
But we love giving people ideas. That was really the goal of it, is to be able to look back and see our work, but then also you can say, "Hey, I really
it's
like this on this house," or "I really like
and
this."
you want to be able to retain what you're doing, so to be proud of your work and the stuff that you're doing.
It's
So
kind of
this,
like our scrapbook.
oh yeah, scrapbooks.
Back when I used to scrapbook.
Yeah, it's a virtual scrapbook. That's what
Yeah.
YouTube is for us.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see.
That's the one you did. Yeah, go that one.
I know you don't work in my area, says Matthew.
Liberty County.
Devers or Devers, Texas, Liberty County. Liberty County, isn't that close to? Oh, I'm
He just
thinking.
says
I'm thinking
Gulf
of.
Mexico.
I'm thinking of Liberty Hill. Is there anyone you'd recommend? FYI, Gulf of Mexico between Houston and Beaumont. I don't, but you could go to our Barndominium group called Building Barndominiums on Facebook and kind of not partition. What am I trying to say? Petition that.
Yeah, just say, "Hey, I'm wanting to build in this area."
And
Yeah, give me some.
of course, download our free PDF where we talk about you getting a game plan strategy for
Getting
building a
started.
barndominium to get started. It's free. It's got a full list of questions where you could download. Not download, but you download it one time. We'll email it to you basically. If you will go to the link tree right here at linktree.com/Texas Best Construction. You can get that, and we'll give you a list of questions you can ask your builder, as well as discuss things that you need to be preparing for
It's
and
got lenders on there
and planning.
plans.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of information.
we have nationwide lenders on there too. So, and plan designers.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Yeah, I know. I'm. It's unfortunate for me too that a lot of people are out of my build radius.
Most people.
But we are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and there's only 8 million people here, so there should be plenty of people.
Darn.
I don't know how many people we got here. There's maybe 7-8 million homes here.
I have no clue.
Here's what I found.
Oh,
Oh, how many people are here? Wow,
Siri heard you talking.
Siri
Listen,
is seriously
being
listening
nosy.
in.
Nobody asked you, Siri. She
Wow.
just said, "Here's what I found."
Megan says, "How many do you build a year?" It could be
Depends on which year.
depending on which year. We've had some years we're over 20 builds, but I would say probably closer to like 15 to 20, somewhere in that range. But that's our whole thing. It's like, well, you got this whole like national audience, or at least it spreads out over the country, people that are following along, and you'd like to be able to help more than just your 20 to 30 clients,
Yeah,
so
and I think we'll be able to squeeze in a few more with doing the shells, because they don't take as much time.
yeah. Let's see. Somebody here. Dustin says, "Why don't we ever see any simple builds? When I think of a barn door, I don't think of it being as high end as what we build." Okay. It's a fair question. We could ask the same thing and say, "Hey, why don't anybody ever want to do something simple?" But, we're ultimately building what people want. And that's the thing to remember. It's not us that's generating the interest or the desire to go however high end and all these kind of things, other than maybe the inspiration on our channel and some of those things. But, for us, we are building some pretty simple builds out there. We've got, our typical setup is pretty simple. So,
Yeah. What people are going to bring the plans to us as to what they've got designed, and that's what we're going to build. So we don't really have any creative control. Like, it's as glorified as they want it to be. But they're building their forever home, so they may want to put extra things into it. So, I mean, if you brought us a simple plan, I mean, that's what we're going to build. But we do have our base line of things that we're going to do. Like, we're not going to, we're going to do custom cabinets. We're going to do at least a level 1 granite, things like that. So we want to put out a good product as well. So
Denise says they're planning to buy in Punta Gorda, Florida. Are these barndominiums hurricane proof? Denise, they can be. I mean, really, it can be built to reinforcement strength. I mean, it really just depends on it. Like in Florida, you're probably going to do an engineered structure. It's going to cost more money to build to that type of strength anyways. No matter what you build, if you're building for hurricane strength, it's going to cost more money. Definitely. I mean, but you can definitely address that with people that are in Florida. There's people that are definitely there. If you want to go to our Barndo group on Facebook, there's people in Florida all day long, which is called Building Barndominiums. Let's see. Rich says Italy is simple, but a great plan to expand on. That's right. A lot of these builds are great to expand on.
Yeah, the Italy Barndo is one of my favorites. I love it. It is simple, but they did great choices on their selections, and
Just want to say thank you to Matthew for you guys following and watching the channel and finding inspiration there. That's awesome.
Yes.
And we had one over here.
I got Ocean Lover
Instagram.
72 on Instagram says y'all are my dream team from Eustis. They're gathering capital, so they're getting ready.
Awesome. Well, we want to come to Eustis again. We're in let's tell them a little bit where we're at right now. We're in Wills Point. We're looking in Quinlan.
We have a lot of W names right now.
We're in we are in
Whitney.
Van. We're in Wiley. I mean, not Wiley. We're in Tyler. I'm in Tyler right now. I'm having a rough time in Tyler right now, though.
Joshua, Cleburne.
Yeah, we're in
Whitesboro,
Joshua, Cleburne, Whitesboro. Where else?
Whitney, Weatherford.
Yep. Where else?
Wells Point. I think about that. Itasca.
Yeah, Itasca. Now we're going to be in trouble if we don't say somebody's name.
Let me see. Let me tell you.
So it's hard to remember everywhere, but
Let's see.
we do appreciate all of you being on with us tonight. We are going to go ahead and jump off of here because it is Sunday night and it's 9:00, meaning all of our kids got to get ready, go to school tomorrow.
But we didn't talk about the eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
It was in our title.
Well, yeah. Tomorrow is the eclipse. Are the kids going to school tomorrow?
No, they canceled school because I think they didn't want the liability of kids.
Are you guys
being
prepared?
blind.
Like, I literally saw a sign in our town that says "Be prepared for the eclipse." I'm like,
What are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
I don't think we're supposed to be hauling stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
TxDOT, I think they're wanting
you
big
can't.
trucks off the
Yeah,
roads.
you can't be hauling. They're supposed to be like, in our area, they're expecting like 100,000 people to come to Waxahachie.
It's kind of
Like,
crazy.
I don't know what's
They're
going
like,
on.
Get gas, because if you don't, they're going to take it all.
It's mayhem down here.
I saw on
Mayhem.
Facebook, like it was like a meme of somebody carrying all the milk and bread, and they're like, "I'm ready for the eclipse."
Is that what it is? You got to be. Get
It's
your
like a
milk
snow
and bread.
day or something. Yeah.
Listen, guys. Yeah, it was kind of a funny title last minute. I said it needs to be something related to the eclipse, but it's how barndominiums have eclipsed the residential market or something like that. But
Yeah.
barndominiums are the #1 trend in residential construction for the last several years. So if you guys don't believe me, just look for yourself. Look at the Google Trends. You will find it. And I don't think it's going anywhere. So
Yeah.
we really do appreciate it.
She said, "Why do they go for the milk and bread though?" I guess because you can live on milk. Like if you have milk, you can have cereal, you can make things. If you have bread, you can
Sandwich.
live on bread alone.
No,
I'm
you
just kidding.
can't. So, guys, thank you for, in some of your most sacred moments before the eclipse, joining us as we all prepare for tomorrow.
And don't look at the sun or you won't ever see us again.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Megan says Arkansas goes for sugar. Our Facebook page, let's tell them how to find us real quick. It's real easy. You just type in Texas Best Construction on Facebook. If you want our group page, it's Building Barndominiums, but you can find it by going to our Facebook page, Texas Best Construction. Also, you can find us on YouTube for Texas Best Barndominium now. That's what it says there. Texas Best Barndominium. And then on Instagram, it's Texas Best Construction. And LinkedIn, you can look me up personally. I'm on there. I do post things on there. And TikTok, Barndominium Guy, and Texas Best Barndominium. You guys can find us over there. We got a lot more to come, guys. We are going to be bringing you a whole lot more to this channel and this channel and this channel and this channel. Much more content to come. We're not slowing down. We're speeding up. Texas Best is just scratching the surface. We got much more to come. I'm Josh Helm.
And I'm Brandy Helm.
We're wishing you all the best, and thanks for watching Texas Best.